My name is Jasmin Vardimon. I'm a choreographer and artistic director of my own company, my dance company, and my education company. That is a way of expression and tool for communication, which for me is the most important thing about what I do now, is how to communicate thoughts and idea, how to provoke thoughts in the viewer mind. And I think the body have a capacity to communicate on subconscious level, but also on a conscious level. I find inspiration from observing the world around us, around me, our code of behaviors, our essence, our urgencies that happening to us now. Things that I dealt with in my work was environment, was homelessness, was the justice system, was our relationship with illness. So there are different subjects that are a big subject, but I'm interested to explore them on a personal level, from reflection, and then finding imaginative way to communicate them into the audience. To work with dancers that remain in my company for many years, I'm able to see how they're changing sensitivities, their awareness, their capacity to communicate different thoughts and ideas, their ability to look inside and reflect outside. And then in a smaller, more immediate impact, I see how it's the work impact on audiences, how they sometimes discover awareness, different way of looking at things, different way of, and on the other level, I think it's changed a lot of life in participations project that we're doing through our education companies. So for example, we just started last year a 3-year project with 6 schools of disabilities. Are autistic, some of them are disabled, physical disabled, some of them have a behavioral problem. Every school have slightly different educational needs, and I decided first of all to open, for one of the schools, to open one of my performances, Pinocchio. We invited them to come and see it in the studio because they were kids that otherwise wouldn't be able to go to the theater. And just looking at them and see how they respond to the performance was one of the most satisfying moments I had in my life. And then we developed longer project with them, with learning the movement, learning to express, and we just got feedback from their teacher to see the growth and development in those kids was very nice impact to see how dance can change life. I'm very passionate about sharing the knowledge and the experience that we have with others. When we start with the professional one, is more to offer an alternative in terms of education, because there is a lot of criticism on the dance education in the UK that's been over the years. And for me, I always felt rather than criticize what exists, I prefer to offer an alternative. It started mostly with working with professional dancers, and slowly it's grown into a lot of public engagements. We do a lot of work in schools on different levels, different spectrums of schools, and now more and more with the general public as well. When I work with professional and when I work with the public, my expectations are similar, and my offer, what I want to share with them, is very similar. Obviously the expectations are different on the physical level. On terms of the other expectation, it's very, very varied in terms of what people offer back, what they bring back, how much they are able to open and receive. And sometimes working with children, for example, their minds so flexible and so open that they respond in a much more creative way, in a much more artistic way, in a much more imaginative way. Sometimes dancers who've been working and trained to be working a certain way, hard for them to change their way of looking at things, the traditional way, and to find a new way of everyone can do if they're allowing themselves, if they give themselves permission to dive into that inner world and to offer from their inner world into the process. First of all, working in Korea for the first time with the public, because we performed Pinocchio here a few months ago, and I met the public on a different level. So this time was more direct engagement and offer public. My first realization is that it is a very different culture than how I grew up, and also how I live too. I never think that one thing is better than the other. I'm just interested in what there are those differences and how people live and how people have understanding of code of behaviors, from a village in Africa to Western society to here in Andong. So they create a persona that is facing outside, but it's not always what is actually inside the body, what is in their thoughts, in their memories, in their feeling, in their emotion. A lot of the time they don't project it outside. And I found that here it was hard for people to even dare to look inside, to look into who they really are and to communicate it outside. It's hard anywhere, but I was really happy to meet a few people who not just dare to do that process, but also did it in a very joyful way and very courage, and they and discover about their life, about their story, and what they have to offer and how they can communicate and share their ideas.